Candy and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be filming a Candy's Corner video, and today the topic is going to be conflict. So I actually got an email from a viewer. Her name is Lainey, and after her introduction in the email it says, I would like to know your thoughts on conflict/confrontation and how you deal with it. For me personally, I hate conflict and confrontation and I get super anxious whenever it arises. So I was wondering what you feel about it and how you personally deal with it. On a side note, I was also wondering of your thoughts on anxiety. For me, I get anxious quite easily and always fear I'll get into a situation I don't want to be in. So I was wondering if you ever feel anxious in that way or have social anxiety too, and how you deal with it. For this topic, I actually wrote down a few notes because I want to make sure I touch on each one of these areas of my response. I definitely feel like conflict and anxiety kind of go hand in hand, probably for a lot of people. You probably just don't realize it. I think the number one reason that people do avoid conflict is because of anxiety, and because of the fact that if you are in a conflict situation with someone, you don't know what's going to happen. You're not really in control of the situation, and that's the part that causes you to be so anxious, because things could get to a level of really high intensity and you just might not want to go there. And personally, I know for myself, that's why I avoid a lot of confrontation, because I know sometimes if I do speak my mind with certain people in my life or certain situations, that it's not going to resolve anything, and it's just going to kind of make the situation even worse. So to go back, like my first thought when I think of one of the most major conflicts in my life is back when I had to deal with going through my divorce. And this was back around when Andrew turned a year old, and my ex, Andrew's father, decided he didn't want to be married anymore. And it was like, just remembering that point in my life, I feel like I did not avoid conflict whatsoever. Any moment that I had where we could argue or debate or discuss, like, why did he want to get a divorce, and you know, all the many reasons and factors that were involved in us getting a divorce. And it was like a moment in my life where I feel like, looking back, not that I don't want to say that I fought too hard, because how can you ever fight too hard to try to save your marriage? But like, I think I just learned that I fought and fought and fought and fought, and when it still failed, it felt like it could have killed me. Like, I just don't even remember how emotionally I was able to get through it, if that makes sense. So I feel like even now I sort of view things the same way, that when there is this like major conflict and I know it's not going to end well, I can't put the like emotional involvement and time and energy into whatever that conflict is, because I feel like I don't ever want to be in that place again where I feel like it's gonna kill me. Does that make sense to you guys? So I don't know if that's just something that I learned because of that experience, that sometimes you can fight and fight and fight about something, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna end your way. So I remember I have another really big, I guess you could call it conflict, something that happened in my life with someone who was a really close friend to me for many, many years. And then through a series of events, different things happened, and then my friendship ended with this person. And I had a choice to either confront the person and say all the things on my mind, say the main thing that pushed me over the edge, that caused me to end the friendship. And I can remember talking to another friend at the time and saying, you know, this is weighing heavily on my mind. I don't know if I can just continue to like brush it under the rug and not say anything anymore. Like, if this person is that, maybe they are clueless, they don't really know what they did. Maybe I need to tell them, you know, what hurt my feelings and what made me put an end to the friendship. Or, you know, maybe things just sometimes happen the way they're meant to be, and you just accept them and move on. You know, we're not meant to get along with everyone. That's just the way of life. Well, she had said something to me that always stuck with my mind, and she had gone through some counseling and stuff herself over the years, and she was told by a professional that in those kind of situations you should ask yourself, if you do confront that person and say all the things that are on your mind and how you're feeling, at the end of the day, are you going to feel better or are you going to feel worse? And in my situation, like, that could have ended one of two ways. I could have had a conversation with her and maybe part of the friendship could have been rectified, I guess. Or maybe it could have just made things so worse that I made her feel like this horrible person, or I just felt like such a horrible person for making her feel horrible. Whew, such a mouthful. Well, the more and more I thought about it, I was like, I don't really want to continue the friendship for my own personal reasons. I don't think I'm gonna feel better if I speak up and say anything. So I chose to keep everything to myself and avoid the confrontation. And I wanna say there's been a lot of points in my life that I've made decisions based on that kind of exact situation. So I am definitely, when you ask questions about like avoiding confrontation and conflict, I am definitely very high on the list of people who do pretty much anything to avoid conflict. I do not go out of my way if there's someone in my life's doing that bothers me and I don't think they should be doing it or whatever. It's like, if it's not affecting me like directly on a day-to-day basis, I just mind my own business, let them live their life and move on. So I guess it's just really hard because it really depends, like, in your personal situation, like who you're talking about. I mean, if it's somebody that's in your life no matter what, like, and there's nothing you can do about it, sometimes you can't avoid conflict. But if it's like a coworker or a friend or someone that you have the choice to avoid the conflict, I think it's best to just ask yourself, if I face this head on, is the outcome, it could probably go one of two ways, and out of those two outcomes, are either one of them even going to make you feel any better? And I think that's the most important question to ask yourself. And really, I think anxiety, I don't have any tips on how to control anxiety. When I was younger, say in my 20s, I never really would consider myself somebody who ever had to deal with anxiety. I feel like now, as I've gotten older, there's certain things in my life that cause anxiety, but they're like more like physical element type situations, not necessarily like people. People don't really cause me anxiety, if that makes sense. So it's not really quite the same thing. So, and I'm not even really sure exactly how to deal with that kind of anxiety on my own. So I really don't have advice for that other than just doing your best to avoid situations that cause you anxiety. I really can't give any further advice than that, unfortunately. And one other tip too I wanted to share, I think everything I kind of talked about so far was really kind of like on the really drastic end of things, like major kind of conflicts. I think as you get older, you'll find that there's more and more situations that arise that you definitely could find yourself in some sort of conflict on an almost daily basis. Once you have children, whether it be their school, people they're friends with at school, people your kids have play dates with, once your kids are involved in sports and activities, dance, OMG, like dance. There is, I don't care what dance studio you go to, there's dance drama because you hear people say this, people do this, and you want to protect your child. You don't want people talking poorly about your child or talking about them behind their back, and you have to bite your tongue. And like with sports and all of the sports the kids have been in, every single one of my boys in every single sport, there have been situations where there could be conflict. And one rule that Ken has always had, just because he's been a coach for so many years, is the 24-hour rule. And I've always kind of believed and stuck with that rule, even when it comes to dance and just even personal issues like with friends or anybody that I interact with on a daily basis, that if you find yourself in a situation where somebody says or does something that upsets you or affects someone you love, your kids, whoever, wait 24 hours before you do anything about it. Don't text them, don't call them, Don't even give them a dirty look the next time you see them. Try to wait 24 hours. Make sure that you're not just reacting the way you are because you're in that heat of the moment and you're probably gonna say or do something that you regret. But wait the 24 hours, give it a good night's rest and see how you feel the next day. And then if you still feel the same way, you know, move forward with it however you want. I definitely don't think texting is necessarily the way to go, even though it seems to be the way everyone tries to communicate with people these days. I don't know if anyone ever picks up the phone and actually tries to have a real phone call where you communicate about things anymore. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, however you feel like you need to deal with it, just wait that 24 hours. And I think you'll find in most cases, your feelings do change over that period of time. And on a final note, I also do want to share that I definitely have come across paths of people in life where there are just certain people, no matter what the situation is and no matter how you react to it, there are just certain people that are drawn to drama, drawn to creating conflict, love to be confrontational. In fact, like, I don't even know if these people can make it through 1 week without having some type of, oh my gosh, this is happening, what am I gonna do, da 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 da. And like, I could not live like that on a daily basis. Like, I'm the exact opposite of that person. In fact, I feel like I probably go out of my way when I see certain situations and things happening that I'm like, I am just walking away. I'm not getting involved in this. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear it, you know, whatever. And again, that comes to family members, friends, kids related, or parents related to your kids' activities, things you hear other kids say around your own kids. Just, there's so many different situations that could come into play. But I think just to be prepared, the older you get, that there's definitely certain people out there that just strive off confrontation and conflict and just drama in general. Like, drama mamas, as I like to call them, and there are definitely a lot of them out there. So I guess you just have to pick and choose what kind of people you choose to remain close to in your life and who you want to have to deal with on a daily basis. Because I know, talk about anxiety, that's what gives me anxiety. I just can't have that level of like stress and drama on a daily basis or I would go crazy. So I don't know if any of this conversation helped you at all, but that's kind of my experience and my thoughts on the situation. Obviously, I'm the person who walks away and avoids conflict at all costs. So thanks guys for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, as usual, if you have any questions for me, any emails you'd like to write in, every so often I do get some emails that I'm just not experienced enough, or it's like a question that's just in a whole area of life that I'm just not educated on, and I can't help and answer every single question that I get. But if it's definitely something that I have dealt with in my own life or feel that I have an experience to share, I will definitely answer your question in one of my videos. So the email is candy@ourfamilynest.com if you'd like to write in. So thanks guys for watching today, and I will see you in my next video. Make it a great day. Bye.